ओ माय गॉड, ये क्या था भाई? ये क्या था? क्या दिखा रहे हो भाई? नहीं, आपसे कह रहा हूँ, क्या दिखा रहे हो? ये कुछ और है यार। ये मतलब दिस मैन इज रिस्पेक्ट टू प्रवीण मोहन. दिस मैन इज ग्रेट. नमस्ते, हेलो एंड वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल. दोस्तों, हमने प्रवीण मोहन के जो वीडियो था, है ना, एविडेंस ऑफ एंशिएंट मेडिकल टेक्नोलॉजी, आवी प्रोडक्ट ऑफ जेनेटिक इंजीनियरिंग एंड डीएनए मैनिपुलेशन, उसका एक आधा हिस्सा पहले रिएक्ट किया था. बाकी का आधा जो है वो बचता है. तो मैं तो बिल्कुल तैयार हूँ और सरप्राइजेज़ लेने के लिए प्रवीण मोहन जी से. बहुत ही शानदार इंसान है यार ये. बहुत रिस्पेक्ट है इनके लिए. इन्होंने जितनी मेहनत की है, कहाँ कहाँ जाके इन्होंने ये सारे डाटा, ये सारे पिक्चर्स और कैसे इन्होंने कलेक्ट किए होंगे, कितनी रिसर्च की होगी साइंटिफिकली इसको प्रूव करने में और आज के मॉडर्न साइंस के साथ इसको को रिलेट करने में, है ना. तो कमाल है यार. मैं वीडियो शुरू करने से पहले आप सबसे रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहता हूँ कि दिस मैन इज़ लेजेंड और इसको प्लीज़ सपोर्ट करना, है ना. और साथ में मुझे भी सपोर्ट करना. आपके सपोर्ट के बिना मैं कुछ नहीं हूँ. हालांकि जो भी 500,000 व्यूज़ आते हैं मेरे वीडियोस में, मैं उसमें खुश हूँ, बट फिर भी. तो हमने जहाँ पे छोड़ा था वहीं से शुरू करेंगे, है ना. रेडी? अभी मैं थोड़ा सा मेंटली प्रिपेयर भी हूँ, है ना, क्योंकि जब वीडियो शुरू किया था ना, तो बैक टू बैक ऐसी ऐसी चीज़ें प्रवीण जी बता रहे थे कि वो सिंक नहीं हो रहा था. पर अभी क्योंकि हम आधी वीडियो देख चुके हैं और इतनी सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन हमें मिल चुकी है, तो मुझे पता है अब जो फैक्ट्स आएंगे शायद वो मुझे सरप्राइज तो करें पर ऐसे शॉक नहीं देंगे, क्योंकि मैं मेंटली प्रिपेयर हूँ शॉक नहीं होने के लिए. तो शुरू करते हैं दोस्तों, है ना. हमने जो छोड़ा था वो वहीं से शुरू करते हैं. सो here we go.
Placed inside a woman's womb.
Okay.
But there is yet another strange carving found in an ancient temple. Here we can see a female who's maybe 6 or 7 months pregnant, and there is a man standing beneath her. We can clearly see that this man is holding a cylindrical probe-like device. One end is inserted into her reproductive organ, and he's looking inside on the other end. His one eye is clearly placed on this end of the device. Today, we use the exact same technology, and this device is called a transvaginal ultrasound, and it's used to check the heartbeat of the fetus, and gynecologists use this to monitor pregnancies with a higher risk. The only difference is, now instead of looking directly using a lens, we place a camera and look at it using a monitor. So this is absolute proof of how advanced ancient technology was in India, especially in the medical field. Let's take a look at this ancient carving. It's just brilliant. We can see a pregnant lady and the baby is going.
Such a perfect stance in that carving, you see. Kudos to the artist also.
To start coming out any minute now. Look at the woman's face. She's gritting her teeth. We can almost hear her grunts trying to push out the baby. Look at the clothes on the rest of the women. You can see them clearly. But for this woman, it's not there because she can deliver anytime now. But you know what's really fascinating to me? She has a safety net between her legs. Look, if the baby suddenly falls because of gravity, there's a safety net to hold the baby and make sure the baby does not hit the ground. Now, the pregnant woman's arms are on the shoulders of 2 other females who are helping her push the baby out. But there's another woman, a doctor, thinking. See how they've shown a finger on her face, a classic expression.
Or just some random lady picking her nose? I don't know. I mean, how can you be so sure? How do you know she's doctor?
Of trying to decide the right course of action. Perhaps the baby is not head down. It needs to be turned.
This gesture cannot be for the thinking, na? This is thinking.
Here's another woman clearly holding some medicine to reduce the
Maybe.
pain of labor.
Maybe. But not. Oh God. Let's continue.
In modern terminology, we have an anesthesiologist reducing the pain, a
Or something just got stuck in her teeth, she's just picking up things. I don't know. Just joking.
gynecologist or an obstetrician to monitor the situation, and a couple of nurses to ensure a smooth delivery. Archaeologists confirm that this carving at Dharasuram temple was created 850 years ago.
That must be lie.
In a way, this is really funny because Western archaeologists used to look at carvings like this and used to comment that this is a primitive and a crude delivery scenario. Where's the bed? And why isn't the woman lying down? Why is she standing? Today, more and more doctors are recommending a standing delivery. Apart from the obvious benefit of gravity to help the baby descend, they say there is better oxygenation of the baby as the veins and aorta are not compressed by the pregnant uterus.
Really?
They also say the contractions will be more efficient, the labor will be shorter and less painful, and fewer forceps, vacuum births, and other huge advantages if a woman delivers in the standing position. Perhaps all we need is a different perspective to see the reality of our ancient past. We have been repeatedly taught that we are right now at the pinnacle of human development, and ancient people were really primitive people. We are brainwashed right from the childhood with television programs, textbooks, and even today's social media.
Agree.
What we have to do is look at the ancient evidences in a different angle, because it's obvious that what we are taught in books does not match what we see here. It's clear that they actually preferred a standing delivery simply because it was a better method.
Yes.
The ancient people were just a little bit more advanced than us.
Little
And
bit?
they have also experimented with women lying down. We do see carvings of lying on the back deliveries. And believe it or not, we even have depictions of complications. This shows breech delivery. You can see the baby is coming out with the legs first and head last. And what would have happened if there were complications, if the child is, say, stillborn? What if the child has come out, but it's not breathing and there's no heartbeat? In the ancient Hoysaleswara temple, built at least 900 years ago, we can see something crazy. A doctor has a baby on his lap. The baby appears motionless as though its heart is not beating. The doctor has a strange dumbbell-like device in his hand and is pressing it against the baby's body. But look how they carved the details. It's placed on the left side of the baby's chest, exactly on top of the heart.
Okay.
Is
Yes.
he giving CPR to a stillborn baby? Do you know, in the last few years, we have invented a groundbreaking, life-saving modern device called a cardio pump? Are we going to ignore how this state-of-the-art device also has the dumbbell shape, exactly like the one in the ancient carving? So you can see they were using advanced technology completely from start to finish, from the time before conception, all the way until after the baby was born. Technology was involved. But ancient Indians appear to be equally superstitious. They had many strange and barbaric rituals when a baby was born. But this is not just a thing of the past. India is perhaps the only country where the age-old rituals are still continued today.
Now there's something, this guy always say negative about things and he proved that thing positive, you know. I've seen, he did it twice before. So what he's going to say, he's going to prove that it was not, you know, orthodox method, or you know what you can, what he just said, superstitious thing. He will prove it something scientific out of it. I know. I got you, brother.
Even after thousands of years, in remote parts of South India, babies are delivered by traditional doctors. These doctors have never been to school. They
Daima.
have learned their techniques from their mothers, who learned it from their grandmothers, and so on. As soon as the baby is born, a strange ritual is performed. The doctor will take the umbilical cord and also remove the blood inside the cord and will keep it in a container. Then she will mix a secret ingredient and everything will be put into a small airtight vial called tayat. So, where do you buy this vial, right? It's actually available in all the country stores which sell traditional items in South India. It costs like 50 rupees, less than $1. And some people buy this today and simply wear them thinking it has magical properties. They don't even realize that this is a container. You can open it on both sides and you can put something inside. It is actually quite a sophisticated vial. And it is still called Tayathu even after thousands of years. And the name Tayathu actually means cut from the mother.
Oh.
Tai means mother and Athu means cut off. And what do you cut off from the mother? The umbilical cord. So the traditional doctor will store the cord blood of the umbilical cord inside this as soon as the baby is born. This vial will be kept safely by the doctor. On the 28th day after the birth, a grand ceremony called Aranyanam or Aranyan Kairu is celebrated. A waistband-like ornament made of gold or thick black thread is tied around the waist of the baby. And this vial will be attached to this waistband as a part of this ceremony. As the baby grows, he or she will continue to change the waistband because the thread has to become bigger. But they're not allowed to change the vial, and they must keep the same old vial forever and attach it to their newer waistbands. This waistband ceremony is even mentioned in the oldest Tamil text called Tulkapiyam. So this weird ritual is thousands of years old. But in the last few centuries, when civilized people started to come to India, they were not amused at this barbaric practice, saving the blood from umbilical cords of babies and making them wear this for life. Hindus were pictured as barbaric, ignorant, and superstitious. So most Indians gave up this practice and they don't have these vials and they don't wear this thread anymore, except in remote parts of South India. And then suddenly, in the last few years, there is a groundbreaking new technology called stem cell technology. If you go to a big hospital now for the delivery of a baby, doctors will ask you, do you want to preserve the cord blood of the baby? What is this cord blood? What is this stem cell technology? The blood from the umbilical cord. Now, experts confirm that stem cells are special cells found in the umbilical cord, and we can cure deadly diseases, including cancer, if we preserve these cells. So if a baby is born today and doctors preserve its stem cells, 50 years or later, if that 50-year-old man gets cancer, they can use his stem cells to cure him. Is it possible that ancient Indians were also using the same technology? Did every person carry their own stem cells in these vials? Think about it. Even historians agree that ancient Indians, like Cholas, traveled thousands of miles and conquered distant lands. If a person gets injured or gets a grave disease, what better place to retrieve the stem cells? He must, of course, carry this with him at all times. The full ancient system and knowledge must have been slowly destroyed over a long period of time. Even the traditional doctors know very little now. But even today, if the person gets bit by a poisonous snake, for example, they will open this vial, mix it with milk, and it will save the person's life. Even these doctors think it's some kind of magic, as the knowledge of the ancient stem cell technology is lost. Of course, some of you will say, well, stem cells must be in a freezer, so this is nonsense. Again, just be patient for a few more decades, and scientists will come up with a totally new way of preserving them without freezing them. If the Indian government is smart, they should look into the secret ingredient added in the vial that may have the key to preserving cells. How could ancient Hindus possibly know about this? If they knew about stem cells, did they also perform cloning? We all know cloning is the process of creating an exact replica of someone just by taking one cell. In 1997, the very first successful clone was achieved. Scientists took just one cell from the udder of a sheep and then cloned it into an entirely new sheep and called it Dolly. Dolly looked no different from a regular sheep and lived for 6.5 years. Now, scientists confirm that they can take a few cells from your skin and make an exact replica of you if the law permits. But the exact same process is mentioned in the oldest Vedic text called Rig Veda. In here, three guys, collectively known as Reboots, wanted to create a cow. So they peel a little bit of skin from the cow and then clone it into an identical cow. They were actually cloning it, but they do something that's even more interesting. They find an older man who could not remember things and had lost all his practical skills. So they bring back his memory power and he then remembers all his skills. Today, this process is called therapeutic cloning, specifically designed to resolve Alzheimer's disease. And scientists are now able to make elderly patients remember and regain their skills with this type of cloning. Are we really inventing new technology? Or did this exist in ancient times? If so, did they also work on DNA? Is there any evidence to prove this? Ancient Hindu temples are full of mysterious symbols resembling the double helix structure of DNA, not in just one or two sites. This symbol is nearly found in all ancient temples. In a previous video, I decoded one aspect of the Nagas, but it's nearly impossible not to think of DNA strands when you see this. Why were ancient Hindus carving this everywhere? But it gets more interesting because sometimes they're not just snakes. For example, this 11th century artifact is found in Bhopal Museum. Here we can see two figures who are partially human, and then their tails are tangled up, symbolizing the DNA. Is it a symbol of DNA manipulation or genetic modification or something like that? Are humans purely a product of evolution, or were we genetically modified at some point in time? Today, we're making new species like liger by uniting a lion and tiger. Were human beings also created or modified using this technology? Why do we see 3% of Neanderthal DNA in human beings? How did our DNA evolve dramatically? Was it modified artificially in ancient times, just like how we are making GMO or genetically modified organisms today? How did human beings alone evolve to the level of reaching Mars, while chimpanzees, which have 98% of the same DNA, are still using sticks and stones? Here's an ancient carving. You can see a fish at the bottom. What is remarkable is that we can see a type of long twisted strand coming out of its mouth. And on the top, we can see a strange amphibian or a reptile like animal emerging. Is it possible that ancient builders are showing that amphibians and reptiles evolved from fish? What else can this be? But this is crazy, right? Because first of all, DNA is very, very tiny. The diameter of DNA is only about 2 nanometers. 1 nanometer is 1 billionth of a meter. And this is so small, you cannot even visualize how small it is. For example, if you take one human hair, it has a diameter of 100,000 nanometers. So you can understand how small 1 nanometer is. So it is a wild claim to say that ancient people were able to see such small dimensions and they manipulated tiny DNA strands. To even consider this as a possibility, we need actual physical evidence that ancient Indians understood and used nanotechnology. But surprisingly, such an evidence has emerged from an ancient archaeological site called Kiradi in South India. Even by conservative estimate, this site is at least 2,600 years old. And what archaeologists have found here has baffled all experts. The carbon tubes found here show that ancient people were able to synthesize carbon structures accurately to less than 1 nanometer. This is smaller than the diameter of a DNA strand. Experts confirm that yes, they have used nanotechnology at least 2,600 years ago. So we have actual physical evidence proving that ancient Indians had the capability to process and manipulate something as small as DNA.
Okay.
Today, we collect DNA samples and use a machine called Centrifuge. In simpler terms, we need to rotate DNA samples at high speed. Why? Because the weight of DNA is lesser than the rest of the cell material. So by spinning the sample with centrifuge, we can separate the DNA alone. This is the essential process before analyzing it. Now, bioengineers from Stanford have developed a handheld centrifuge where you can place multiple vials and rotate them at high speed. You don't even need electricity to centrifuge samples in this handheld device. But did ancient Indians also use the same centrifuge technology? Here's a man holding a circular device. Around it, there are multiple slots to hold various samples. Even more interesting, the man appears to be looking at his wristwatch as though he's timing the centrifuge process, just like how we use a timer today. Or
It could be just a bracelet, na? Golden bracelet with some logo, सरकारी logo type thing, वो राजे महाराजे के होते थे ना वैसे. That could, can't be यार, it can't be watch.
all these carvings mere coincidences, or were ancient people involved in genetic modification and DNA manipulation? Now, I've shown you evidence after evidence from ancient carvings, ancient texts, archaeological artifacts, age old rituals, etc. You can tell that I gathered this information after visiting many ancient sites and researching for many years. But let's say I'm wrong about 25% of this. Let's say I misunderstood 25% of this stuff. Actually, let's inverse that. Like, let's even claim that I'm wrong 75%, and only 25% of this information is accurate. But even that is very big. The evidences I've shown you, even if 25% is accurate, that actually proves that there was very advanced technology during ancient times. We have to admit that what we read in history books is not the whole picture.
Not at all.
And there's a huge chunk of ancient history that's deliberately hidden from us. I hope you like this video. I am Praveen Mohan. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and please give it a thumbs up and do share it with your friends. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you so much. Oh my God. Oh my God. ये क्या था भाई? ये क्या था? क्या दिखा रहे हो भाई? मैं आपसे कह रहा हूँ, क्या दिखा रहे हो? ये कुछ और है यार. ये मतलब this man is, respect to Praveen Mohan. This man is great. I've collected lots of information from this video. I have gathered lots of knowledge from this video. Trust me, I am grateful to Praveen Mohan and grateful to all of you who have suggested me this video. You have suggested me Praveen Mohan's name actually. Nobody suggested me the video. If some of you did, then I don't remember, but most of the people only suggested me the name of the guy. Ki react to the Praveen Mohan's video. React to the Praveen Mohan's video. And no wonder. I'm looking forward to more videos of Praveen Mohan. This was one hell of a video, man. I mean, he worked so hard to collect the small informations, details, connecting dots with modern science. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. It was great. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for suggesting, first of all, and thank you so much for watching this video with me. It was a second part of the video, and we are done here with this video. So I'm looking forward to more suggestions like this. So thank you so much once again, and please do support Praveen Mohan's channel. He deserves more. Actually, he deserves more. It's just 1.25 million subscriber. क्या मतलब 12.5 लाख लोग जानते हैं इनको, सिर्फ सब्सक्राइब करते हैं, किया है जिन्होंने. जानते तो और भी होंगे ऑफ कोर्स, मैं भी जानता हूँ इनको, लेकिन मैंने सब्सक्राइब भी किया है. तो आप भी इनको सपोर्ट करें, सब्सक्राइब करें, साथ में मेरे चैनल को भी सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें, क्योंकि आपका एक सब्सक्रिप्शन मेरे लिए बहुत मायने रखता है. तो इसी नोट पर मिलते हैं अगले वीडियो में. थैंक यू सो मच. नमस्ते.